If your stomach is a-growlin' and you want to make something now, man, stop by Bachelor Kitchen. Episode 5. Roasted garlic bread.
Hi, and welcome to Bachelor Kitchen. I'm your host, Cal, and this is my cooking show for regular guys. Let's get started by washing our hands. Today we're going to be making something that I devised myself. We're going to be making roasted garlic bread. We're going to have a nice loaf of bread, and inside are going to be nice roasted cloves of garlic. So let's get started. We're going to use our giant measuring cup again today. And we want to start by getting our tap water to run as hot as we can get it. Okay, once that's running as hot as we can get it, we're going to take our bowl and we're going to put some of that water in it and rinse it out and then pour it out. And that's going to help bring up the temperature of our bowl. Now we want 1 cup of this very hot tap water. Plus 1 tablespoon. And this, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, which I have measured out here. 1.5 teaspoons of salt, which I have measured out here. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And now we're going to add our flour. We're going to add 3 cups of flour. There's our 3 cups of flour. Now we want to just make a little well in the top of our flour that we just put in, and that's where we're going to put our yeast. And you get one of those packets of yeast you can buy at the store. And don't buy the quick stuff, buy the regular stuff. And just pour the yeast into that little well. So now we just want to mix this up. We're going to use a big spatula. You could go in with your hands at this point, but it would be a mess. So we just want to bring this in on itself and get this to start to form dough. Okay, so our dough is getting pretty doughy here, so we're going to switch from our spatula to our hands because it's just going to be easier. Okay, and so you just want to mix this together with your hands. Your dough should feel soft and forgiving. It shouldn't feel hard. It shouldn't feel dry. I like to say that bread dough should feel alive. Walk up to your favorite person and poke them in the stomach, and that's kind of what your dough should feel like. I think this could almost use just a hair more moisture, so I'm just going to put a little bit of hot water on my hand and then just go in and knead it some more, and that'll be enough moisture to bring this up to the point where I want it to be. And you can see here, now we've got a pretty nice dough ball. I'm not real big on kneading. You do need to knead this some. So it's in a ball. It's in the bottom of our dish. And I'm just going to get some plastic wrap. To cover this to help keep it from drying out. And we're going to let this raise until it's doubled. Probably about 45 minutes. And then we'll be back. Okay, so it's been 45 minutes, so we're going to punch this down and give this another knead. And we're going to put this into a ball again. And cover it back up with our plastic. And we're going to let this rise again for another 45 minutes or so, or until it's doubled. And while that's going on, I have a small head of garlic here that I'm going to bust apart, and I'm going to peel all of the cloves. So we'll be back. Okay, so it's been another 45 minutes, and as you can see, our yeasties are very happy in the little ecosphere that we've created for them here. So we're going to punch this down again. And give this a little bit of a knead. And then we're going to take this out. And we're going to shape this into a rectangle. Okay, so we have our rectangle formed here. So I'm going to take the cloves of garlic that I peeled earlier, and I'm just going to put them around on this. The key to this is moderation. Smaller whole cloves I think are better than bigger ones that you have to chop up, although that's acceptable. You just kind of spread these around, and then we're just going to roll this up. And you just want to make sure that you get those tucked in as you roll, so that they don't move around too much. And when you get that rolled up, then you just want to pinch this seam shut. Okay, on the ends I just kind of poke them in a little bit, and then I seal those up too, just pinch them shut. It's really important that you get these sealed very well. And then you want to make sure that this seam ends up on the bottom. So I've got my baking sheet right here. I've lined it with foil, and I've coated it with a little bit of olive oil. So I'm gonna make a few little decorative slices in this just for fun. Like that. And then we just want to drizzle this with a little bit of olive oil. Get a paper towel and kind of brush it around. And this will help it from forming a skin and impeding our raising, because we're going to raise this one last time for about 45 minutes. And we'll be right back. Okay, so it's been another 45 minutes, and our yeasts are still very happy, but now it's time to bake our bread. So I've preheated my oven to 375, and We're going to stick this in. And we're going to set our timer for 30 minutes. And then we'll be right back. Okay, so we've been baking our bread for 30 minutes now. And so I want to put some foil on my bread so that it doesn't get cold. So I've just made a little tent. And I'm just going to put it over my loaf like that. And then I'm going to put it back in. And we're going to bake it for another 30 minutes. We'll be right back. Okay, so it's been another 30 minutes and our bread should be done. So I've got my cooling racks right here and I'm going to set them out and then let's get our bread. And there we have our loaf of roasted garlic bread. So I'm just going to slide this out onto the cooling rack. That. And we're going to let this cool. Now I recommend that you let this cool for at least an hour before you cut into it. That gives the structure of the bread time to set up, as well as the garlic's getting a little bit less roasting from the holdover heat. So we'll be back. Okay, well, our bread has been cooling for about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take it off of this rack. And as you can see, we've ended up with a really beautiful loaf of bread. The true test, though, comes when you cut into it. I recommend that you cut this in thicker slices rather than thinner. That way you have a better chance of encapsulating one of those cloves of garlic. And as you can see, there's our loaf of bread. And there we have a couple of nice examples of roasted garlic. Here's a piece of bread that has some nice roasted garlic in it. Here's a piece that has a couple lovely pieces of roasted garlic in it. This really came out just about perfect. So what you want to do is serve this up with a little bit of butter. And this is about as garlicky as garlic bread gets. If you want, you can dip this in olive oil or balsamic vinegar. Serve it with your favorite Italian dish. And it's really beautiful. You can see it's got the garlic all through it. It's tasty. This has been Bachelor Kitchen, episode 5. I'm dedicating this episode to my older brother, Bachelor Cook Kev, who said, you can't do that. So this is proof positive that it can be done. So thanks for watching episode 5, and come back and hopefully we'll get some more episodes up for you to watch, and keep watching and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
If your stomach is a-growlin' and you want to make something now, man, stop by Bachelor Kitchen.